Whoops. Here we are, bottom of the Smash Mountain. I would like to thank my patron supporters over at patreon.com/bsmpod for continuing to support me and what I'm doing. I would like to thank my specific senior producers. I have a Ventus official in my corner, and my parents, my mom and dad. Thank you so much for your continued support, and to everybody else as well. Thank you for tuning in. We have the Bells 77, or just Bells, no big deal, running Pulse, little grassroots esports org that deserves more attention than it gets, because I think something that Pulse does really well is gather to itself people who are regularly making content. I think something that I really like about Pulse is the content machine that seems to be behind it. I don't want to throw any disrespect to the other grassroots orgs that we have with All Chat Esports, or just no. I knew this. I deliberately thought about this beforehand. It's not. No. Give me a second, Bells. No, I got this. I'm just distracted by the fact that I clicked on my starting soon screen and transitioned back into that after the intro video. So I'm currently annoyed with that. But the other grassroots org that's in this community, and I have talked to people from this grassroots org, is, oh gosh.
I can start naming teams if you want.
Just give me a second. I need to get over the fact that I'm annoyed at myself for forgetting. Just.
Take your time.
That's fine. I know this. Well, obviously not. Sorry, Melee Stats. I love what you all are doing, but that's not who I was thinking of. And I wasn't thinking of Golden Guardians either, because Golden Guardians is beyond grassroots. No, there's like a trifecta in my mind. It's not Pudding Frog. See what I'm talking about? I can think of all these other orgs that are trying to do stuff within Melee, which I appreciate. You know, I appreciate people like Golden Guardians and FlyQuest for doing stuff on the ground. But when I think of grassroots esports orgs in Melee, I think of Pulse and All Chat and
I know my third, because I have a trifecta too. I'm wondering if it's the same.
It is the same. I just can't think of it off the top of my head right now, and that's what I'm really mad at myself for, because I care so much that each of these supports the community in its own way. But I'm really mad because I've Conduit Gaming. See, I've interviewed Cray Stab before, who I think is such a cool person. And I'm really annoyed that I forgot. Maybe it's because you rebranded to Conduit Gaming.
It used to be a lot easier, yeah.
Instead of Creastab Gaming. Hey, it's all good. I like the Conduit angle. It's cool. It reminds me of this really out of left field video game, because we didn't come here to talk about this video game, where you're like a mutant, but they call them conduits in that game, and you have to choose to either be a good guy or a bad guy. I don't know. I watched a gameplay series on YouTube back in the days when we used to watch. Do you remember these days, Bells, when we would watch videos on YouTube of people playing the game, and while they're playing through the game they would talk and we'd get to know the person? That was super cool. I don't watch gameplay videos anymore of people walking through games. I don't do that anymore. Do you?
I don't watch new ones. I'll go back and watch the stuff I used to watch for nostalgia, but besides that, no, I won't do that. I watched a 12-year-old PewDiePie video the other day. Like, I'll go back and watch them sometimes, but I don't watch any of the new stuff, really.
When it comes to a new game, I'm not curious enough to play it, to be honest. When I hear about a new game, or if Hades wins all the awards or something, I'll go, oh, that's cool. And I start to feel like maybe I should check. Nope, I don't feel like it. And I used to be the kind of person who would go, oh, what's this new game? Oh, who's playing what? And I kind of cared, because I really enjoyed watching those videos, but maybe it's because I've grown up or something. I don't know. I've also just gotten more and more into Melee as time has gone on. I used to be the person who would pay attention to a lot of games and Melee, but then it's kind of like grown into just basically 100% Melee. And no offense to Ultimate or other game franchises out there. I mean, shouts out to Rushdown Revolt for helping out with Ludwig's event recently, but I'm watching the gameplay and I'm going, Not gonna be playing that. Hey, that looks cool. Not gonna be playing that. And it's just that's what's happened to me. I have become very much a one game person, a one game boomer, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's easy nowadays. Like I've only been in the community for a couple years now, so I can't say like how it used to be, but like when I got into Melee, I was still like, a pretty like big gamer. I was playing Dark Souls, like I just Modern Warfare. I've always played the games, all the popular games that come out, and then I started playing Melee, and I'm like, there's a major like every other week. I don't have to. I've got to watch this. I've got to learn what's gonna happen, who's going, what are the viewpoints going in, who's this Jmoot guy. Now I got to look into this. Like, I want to know what's going on. There's history. There's just it's so much more enjoyable, at least for me, to watch Melee knowing the storylines. Storylines make it a million times better for me.
When you don't see what Mango says about the event before the event happens,
Yeah.
it's almost as if you don't know enough of what's going on, even though you know who Mango is. It's like,
Yeah.
is Mango making fun of this tournament? Is he taking it serious? Did he play Mario ranked for 10 hours on a stream prior to the event? Like what was happening before the event started?
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean.
So yeah.
So let's see.
I'm very similar, single Melee kind of guy now, and P plus.
Oh yes, and we were gonna definitely talk about P plus because I've seen, some of my favorite Blur memes that have come out on the timeline. So you do have access to these
Blur?
videos. I mean, sure. So drop the videos. Irrelevant.
Blur, they're already uploaded. Blur, you just gotta unlist them, man. Come on.
One day.
Give us the VODs.
I don't think I can have Blur as a guest because that will be one of my leading questions, and I'll just get.
He'll just leave the call.
This is a poor way to start out a conversation, Jesse, is probably the how it would start. It would be like that Robert Downey Jr. interview where he keeps telling the guy.
Marcus talking about his dad.
Yes. I mean, there would be the same look of hurt and betrayal that Blur would give me as what Robert Downey Jr. did to that guy. Of like, what are you doing? And then looks up at the publicist like, you can go now. And he goes, okay, bye. It's not that hard of a question, Blur. Can you unlist them or not? Also, why are you the only one who can access that channel? What how does that make sense?
Yeah, just unlist them. I just want to watch it. Come on. I wasn't there live.
Speaking of not being there live, I also got into Melee more specifically and intensely back at end of 2018, beginning of 2019. My first live experience watching a Twitch top 8 live, not in person but live on Twitch, was Smash Summit 6. It was the one where Hungrybox popped off and yelled fucking fuck, like that was the one that I saw that and I'm going, wow, this is crazy. Who even is Zane? I don't know who this kid is, and Hungrybox is so rude. Where's the fist bump? But it's drawing me in. It's drawing me in, and the more I got into it, like I said, harder to get away. I loved all the stuff from that top 8, watching Genesis 6 top 8 and going, oh, can Axe actually do this? Oh, this is sad because, you watch a timeout situation. You always feel bad for the person who loses the timeout. Because 8 minutes is a lot of time, theoretically, to get rid of 4 stocks, but when the other person just stops playing ball, it feels so sad. And then Hungrybox winning anyway. And that was fun. It was fun. And I thought, okay, so everybody in Melee seems to be complaining about how much Hungrybox is dominating and winning, but as far as I can tell, he looks really wobbly most of the time. He just happens to outclutch everyone, and I think because of his very presence, you can't play as good against him as you would against any other Jigglypuff player. It was really cool when Genesis 7 happened and Zane won. I thought it would be cool for Hungrybox to win, but to win 2 Genesis in a row, but I was really rooting for Zane. It was so cool to see Zane win Genesis 7, and the more you get into it, the more it's just like, now I'm part of the history. I remember Zane when he was on the up and up at Smash Summit 6, and people oh yeah, well I was there at MDVA during his locals days, so you don't know anything. And I go, that's right, of course, Melee has a 20-year history.
Yeah.
it's been fun. When did you get into Melee?
So it's like everyone else, it's complicated usually
Mm,
because most people who get into Melee are like, yeah, a lot of people, at least that I know, didn't start with Melee. Like I started with P plus back in 2015, 16. I played it casually with my buddy, which P plus is a weird one to start playing casually, in my opinion, because you can't just put it in the Wii. You gotta mod it.
yes.
But I had a buddy who was very tech savvy. He thought it was cool, and we put Ocean Man over, Smashville and played Squirtle Dittos, and like that's what we did. And then I was like, well, this is like Melee, right? And he was like, yeah. And so I think we watched some tournament. I can't remember what it was. It was pre 2016. I'm pretty sure because Armada was there and all this, and I learned all this. He like caught me up to date because he played Ultimate competitively. I did not, or Smash Four back then, I guess. Um, and he caught me up to date, told me about like who Armada is, blah blah blah, all the information. I was like, this is cool. And then I didn't watch anything else ever again. And so like I'm like playing Ultimate casually. I'm a casual gamer. And then 2019 or 2020 break like when we started going to lockdown basically, and we have all this time. I was at my buddy's house, the same guy, and he downloaded Slippy onto my laptop without telling me. And he was like, "I know you used to like Melee and P Plus. I know you hate tech stuff. I put it on there without you knowing. Just go home and try it. I think you'll like it." I was like, "Okay." And I went
Ah.
home and I played Captain Falcon on Unranked, and I remember the first time I played, it was another Captain Falcon. It was a Ditto, and he was just moonwalking and running around and BMing me, and I was like, "This sucks." And but I kept playing. I was like, "This is kind of fun." And I started playing, and I can't remember the first tournament I started watching, but I think it was like the Ludwig stuff, the Ludwig online series, and it was like Zane Mango deal, and like it was like a shell shock to me coming in because I was in like a hyperbolic chamber for like 5 years, from where I started, and I'm like, wait, Armada's retired. Hungry Box isn't number. What is going on? Who are these people? Who is Zane? And I had to relearn it all. It was a very interesting experience. But in like hard terms, I would say I started my career in like late 2019, early 2020. Even though I knew the community beforehand. So that's kind of like a basics of what happened with me in the community, I guess.
Yeah,
Uh,
there's an introductory period, there's touch points,
mhm.
but you're not all the way in yet. You're still near the
Yeah.
top of the funnel, circling.
Yeah, the
Long-term
funnel.
development, because my first
Hmm.
exposure to competitive Melee, and when I really should have gotten into it, was 2006, the beginning of 2006.
Hmm.
When MLG New York Grand Finals were put onto YouTube, I was watching it and
Hmm.
I was going, this is how Melee can be played. This is cool. I like this. All these short hop
Yeah.
lasers and pillar combos for PC Chris, and then Ken's, I mean,
Hmm.
ferocious punish game on his end, watching them go against each other.
Hmm.
And I go, I would love to do this. And so I
Yeah.
did. It was like 15 years later in 2021.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
for all those years in between 2006 and 2018, the end of 2018 was just several times a year I would see competitive Melee still doing their thing. That's cool, but I'm doing my thing. I've been either
Mhm.
too busy graduating high school or too busy working full time, too busy getting married, too busy having kids, and it just
Yeah.
took a really long time to actually get to the point of I'm gonna follow people on Twitter. I'm gonna watch live tournaments. Am I
Yeah.
gonna make a podcast about this game? What's going on here? So it took a while, but we eventually got in. Who knows? Somebody could have been watching Apex 2015 live and have not watched a single thing about Melee since, other than a viral, oh, I didn't know people still played Melee, but it's kind of whack that Nintendo shut them down. What the heck? But then
Yeah.
still not pay attention until maybe something will happen in 2023. You never know, because
Mhm.
we're gonna keep doing stuff. We have to be there for those people that think it's too late to join. Because I thought it was too late to join. I thought I'm way behind on everything,
Yeah.
everything. Even being just like the lurker person. I don't know
Mhm.
any lore. I can't be Seal commenting on allegedly every Melee YouTube video. There are so many levels to this, but everybody's really welcoming. Everybody's really nice. I know that there are exceptions to the rule, but I don't shy away that hard from generalizing and saying melee people be cool. So it's been nice because of that. Not just the fact, oh, the game's cool, watching top level play is cool. Now I'm saying watching people play on Pokefloats is super cool. So
Yeah.
we're definitely I'm definitely all the way in now.
Hmm. Yeah, it kind of just sucks you in. You don't realize it. I was just a shitter on Twitter at like 2019, and now here I am in the thick of it.
What made you want to get into everything more than just saying Pog or Pepe something, Monka S starring Twitch streams? What made you want to get involved with following around people on Twitter and going, I can be part of the underground, bringing people up out of the shadows role? Because my interpretation of, and without being super mean about it, is that All Chat and Conduit Gaming and Pulse are the three orgs that love finding those up and coming players who
Hmm.
don't have a big platform yet and giving them
Hmm.
a little bit of a platform. I don't think of
Hmm.
my podcast as in the same length. I just think of it as I love hearing people talk about the game other than top competitors. And you won't hear it a lot other than finding people's YouTube channels and everything, because a lot of people make content around Melee. It just might be one or two videos and then they move on. But when I think of somebody who has enough funds to throw a little bit of money in a player's direction, help with
Allegedly.
travel, or hey,
Yeah.
I'll sponsor you for this big tournament specifically. I
Hmm.
think Pulse and All Chat and Conduit Gaming do a great job of saying this person just needs one shot, one opportunity
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
make a big splash, and possibly, and this is the painful part, this is what Kreestab talked to me about, the painful part of going, now I have to say goodbye to this player because
Hmm.
they're big enough now, they get picked up
Yeah.
by these bigger orgs that
Hmm.
have proper staff and HR department and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm just curious, what made you want to get into it? I'm sure you didn't have all these thoughts in your head at first. You were thinking of it because you wanted to do what when you got in at first?
So basically, what happened is I thought it was unfair because I've been lurking in the shadows for probably a year at that point. And I'd made some good friends through Twitch because I was a Twitch like stream monster at the time. And I'd see all these very, very, very talented, hardworking people, and I'd be like, it's just they legitimately cannot get they put the work in, but they just do not have the funds or the means to get where they need to go with the skills that they have gotten, which in my mind felt very, very unfair. Um, and so the original basis I put on Pulse was to take people who, with the correct funds, could be huge figureheads of the community, but just can't do it. Bring them on, give them that platform, and then kind of scoot them off to like a GG luminosity level sponsorship once that opportunity comes to them, and then we'll replace them with someone else who I feel is in a similar situation that needs like that pedestal, I guess. You know, that was the original idea. Didn't quite turn out that way, but I still like how it turned out. I guess it's just a full team.
What's the first step though? Because I have thought to myself, I should talk to Wheat or somebody from Melee Stats of how they decided that they would use what I assume to be mostly their Patreon fund to help
Mm,
sponsor some of these players from Europe, because that's really cool. Europe
okay.
doesn't have the opportunity to travel unless they want to spend thousands and thousands of dollars, because you could
Mhm.
buy somebody in North America, in the United States, a plane ticket and it wouldn't put you back by too terribly much. But for
Yeah,
Europe, traveling to North America, oh
like
yeah,
a, like a
you could
G.
you could get in that spot very quickly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So how
So
does
just
it start? What's the first step?
so uh the first step is you have to have someone who's willing to work with you because in my position, I had barely been in Melee for a year. All I had was like word of mouth of people that I had known for a while. They'd be like, "Yeah, he's a cool dude. Like, he's not gonna scam you. He legitimately wants to help." I think the first thing I did was I worked with Run Riot and Extinction Tempo because they're the team. And I was just like, I would love to. I want to start an esports team. I've always thought that'd be cool. I was DMing him, talking to him, and I made it. And I was just, I just kind of went for it. Honestly, there wasn't too many steps I made. I was just like, I made a look. It's actually this is the original logo. I haven't even updated my jersey yet. I made this logo in like cracked Photoshop and slapped it on some jerseys and shipped it out to the first wave of players I had. And then we went to Riptide after a few months, and that's just the start of it, I
And
guess.
that's when I saw Pulse at first. It was through Run, Ride, and Tempo. That's so cool.
Yeah, yeah. Doubles is a big thing for us. It's kind of on the back burner now, sadly, just because it's so difficult to get people to doubles.
Well, what are Run, Ride, and Tempo doing exactly? Because I haven't seen them in doubles in what feels like a hot minute, and
I
I don't know what to
I
do.
I'm not one to like talk about people's personal information. All I know is that Run Right is taking a break currently.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I
Well,
can
then
give
that makes
out.
sense.
He's taken a step back from the game. He's told me he's doing a lot more family deals. He hasn't given me any information. I'm currently, to my knowledge, Justice and Tempo are teaming, which is just as crazy of a team, if you ask me. But I would like to see Run Right and Tempo go on some tears in the future still, especially with 2023 tournament.
I
But we'll just
thought
have
that
to
those
see.
matches, so obviously the first to five was rough when they played against PewFat, but then afterwards they were starting to
I
figure
mean,
some stuff out.
that's literally like it hurt me to watch people making fun of him because Tempo and Renard are a good team, but that's literally it's unironically like if someone took Armada out of retirement and then took a fringe top 100 or like a fringe top 50 player and was like, all right, especially like a Spacey, like go first
Go.
to five,
Have at
and
it.
it's just like that top 50 players are really really good, but they're very new, and this is like the goat. That's the goat team, and it's a weird comp. It's a Marth Fox. That's a weird comp. So I feel like they did very well, but yeah, it's just even Red Ryan Tempo. They're like, we're happy with how we did. It's just like if you watch those sets, like they not only are they PewFat, they were doing crazy things for being retired. Like there was a recovery at some point where they were just both underneath the ledge for like 30 seconds while Red Ryan and Tempo were trying to gimp them, and they just couldn't. It was
That's the thing
crazy.
that again, when I was watching that, I couldn't believe what I was seeing because I know. I mean, I've interviewed Pew Pew U and SFAT, excuse me. Wow, whoops.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
Kevin is very competitive, so I know he would have
Mm-hmm.
done a little bit of practice beforehand. But just
Oh
to
yeah.
be ready to be in a team's environment, when I mean, Melee is so fast. It is hard for some people to watch singles because they'll go, it doesn't make sense. They go towards each
Yeah.
other and something weird happens and then somebody goes flying. I mean, what's up with that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you watch doubles, you have no idea where to look. So I know
You
that
have to
obviously
learn.
is a Kevin has played Melee for
Mm-hmm.
15 years, 15 plus years, at least competitively. So I know that doesn't entirely go away, but I thought if Tempo and Run Riot are well practiced, they have a chance to do this because it looks like they have great team chemistry. So when I was going into that, I wasn't sure. I thought I don't know how PewFat's going to be able to keep up at first. I think Run Riot and Tempo can jump on them, but what
Yeah.
happened throughout each game was this really weird occurrence would happen where you would just simply get the vibe of PewFat's not letting this slide. There's like a moment
Mm-hmm.
where they go, let's lock it down. And then all of a sudden, PewPew is impossible to kill, or SFAT's like really chaining all of his hits
Mm-hmm.
together well to make sure that PewPew doesn't get overwhelmed by being double teamed or anything. It just, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was, I thought it was not going to be a 5-0 at all in either team's favor. And so the fact that it ended up being that, like you said, I felt bad for Tempo and Run Riot because everybody on Reddit's going, well, that was a foregone conclusion. And I go, no, it wasn't. They're a good team. And you should have seen the games
Yeah.
after the first to five was over because they played for an hour. And I know it was friendlies, but they're starting to figure some stuff out.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah. Yeah.
potential there. And then they stopped going to tournaments. And now I understand kind of mostly. Look, I don't blame anybody for taking a break from Melee, so it is no big deal. But I had no
Mm-hmm.
idea that was a thing, so now I
Yeah.
do. It's a little
Mm-hmm.
sad because I want doubles to be a thing as well, like doubles ranked. That's
They
not
were
going to be a
huge.
thing.
Yeah, they were a very very big name in doubles. Runner at Tempo holds quite a bit to people who know anything about doubles. So yeah, I hope he comes back soon, but I'm not here to rush anyone. I want them to take their time. I've had people take breaks before; they always come back better than when they left. So it is what it is. But yeah, one thing I wanted to follow up on what you said is when people watch singles, they get confused when they're new, and it's like what I tell people who are new to Melee and just games that are fast in general. I'm like, learn how to play the game, because trying to just watch and not understanding what's happening, you're not going to understand like ever. If you learn how to play the game, it's basically like learning a language almost. Like
Yeah.
it'll translate. You'll become fluent in it. You'll understand what's happening, why it's happening, and it's similar for doubles. I think that's a problem for people who can't watch doubles because only like 10% of the community plays doubles, maybe even less. So there's an even smaller amount of the community who can watch doubles, like truthfully. They know what's going on. And it's difficult. Like the reason that I've talked to Runright a lot with friends, he says he can't play singles because he has a goldfish brain. He's like, I have to be doing something or else I will get bored and just run. Like off stage into the opponent. He's like, I can only do that in doubles because there's no camping in doubles. And it makes sense. There's always something going on. There's almost always either two 1v1s going on or a crazy 2v1 combo. Like there's so much to digest in one doubles match. That's why I like watching it, but I understand how some other people just can't like compute how it works sometimes, I guess.
The hardest thing to go without when you watch doubles is when you don't have teams that are able to do team combos very well.
Mm-hmm.
There might be a team combo after one player loses all their stocks, and so now it's an obvious 2v1. But
Mm-hmm.
that was something that, I mean, Armada Android or Armada XYZ, whoever he would team with,
Yeah.
I guess Mewtwo King mainly aside from Android, those team combos, obviously Pew Fat, and I saw I just saw Tempo and Run Ride being that level already
Yeah.
in their time playing net play doubles. Just to be clear, I
Yeah.
mean
Yeah.
you don't even have the ability to kind of feel that person's energy next to you, which is such a big thing. Being on a really similar or the same wavelength when you're playing with a teammate, and they were already getting that down, and that's what felt really exciting to me because team combos,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be hard pressed to find something more hype than that. I mean, think of
Yeah.
the Wombo combo, the most viewed
Combo
melee thing probably of all time. So
ever. Yeah.
that's what that's what we all love seeing, and then it's hard when you go without seeing that throughout an entire match. So what I'm hoping for is little things like Genesis 9 is going to have top 4 doubles on Sunday. I don't know if you knew that or not, but top
Yeah.
4 is being streamed on Sunday instead of Saturday night or Friday night. I mean, some of these doubles brackets are done on
Yeah.
Friday and it's rough.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
even, I mean, Mango played, oh, this made me so mad. For Lost Tech City, Mango played on a team and it wasn't actually streamed. I was so mad. I hated it.
I was
So what I'm saying is that we'll get to have hopefully some really good doubles play at Genesis 9. No pressure, by the way, to all the doubles players out there in the teams, but
hoping to see some Pulse guys up there.
JBDW is also a team that gives me a little bit of hope because obviously they're friends. JMook and IBDW are friends. Hopefully they'll continue they had a really nice doubles run at Big House. It was fun to watch them play doubles in person there. And Ginger Fat Goku is just surprisingly fun to watch as well. I wasn't sure how that was going to go, but their play styles, even though I feel like they're really different, mesh together really well. So, oh, and of course, what if Ryobeat and Aura do double Peach again? That'd be super fun.
Gosh. Not for the players, but yes, for us watching, it'll be a good time. Yoshi Story blenders on the side platform.
Seeing
crazy,
that was
man.
just going, wow, I mean, look, there are a lot of people saying this is low key kind of really fun when you wouldn't
Yeah.
necessarily be as excited to watch Peach play on the screen. I enjoy watching nearly every matchup in Melee for myself, but I know there's some people who are like, give me fast fallers, give me spacey dittos. I don't want to see a Sheik versus a Marth or or what have you, or Jigglypuff versus Peach is the more accurate thing. Don't want to see Jigglypuff and Peach on my screen, which is too bad because who remembers seeing Hungrybox and Lod play for an hour and 20 minutes? Most of us do. Most of us remember going through that experience, watching IBDW have his tournament semi-ruined, but also be semi-awesome because of that. Grand finals or winners finals, whatever it was so funny. Oh no, it was grand finals because there was a bracket reset. Yes, now remember. Classic.
Crazy. Yeah, I love doubles, man. I can talk about doubles all day.
Who are some of the teams that I haven't mentioned? Like, because I'm trying to think of teams that I would love to see at top 4 of Genesis 9. But who would you want to see there?
Biggest one, Ralph Dark Atma. Ralph Dark Atma is huge. That was basically Run Right Tempo's practice partners for a while. I'm pretty sure if we're talking about Genesis, I'm pretty sure Justice and Salt are playing, and they've been ecstatic for a while. They do pretty good usually. I don't think anyone else who could possibly be there that would be interested in watching. We haven't said yet. Honestly, anyone Slow King teams with, I know Slow King does a lot of teams. He teams with Travioli a bit. Man, I'd have to look, honestly. I'm sure there's just gonna be I'm sure everyone's gonna be there. Genesis is pretty big for their doubles. So, but yeah,
Shout out to Sheridan.
A big one. Huh?
Shouts out to Sheridan.
Yeah.
Been a doubles player for, forever. Just as long as Sheridan's been a singles player, has also been a doubles player. Maybe we'll see Sheridan and Contra do well. They did well at Big House actually. They got pretty far in bracket. So yeah, top 4 surprise. That'd be kind of fun. That'd be hype.
Yeah.
Here, everybody's favorite TO team, just kind of making everybody regret playing doubles. But honestly, for Genesis 9, I'm sort of thinking, Ralph Dark Atma for top 4. I also want to see Ginger Fat Goku. I want to see JBDW. And if it's Justice and Salt, let's do that too. I think, after talking with Justice about playing Melee, really loves playing doubles. So I love the idea of more. It's not that we're not allowed to have top players do well in bracket. Like if Plup and Hungrybox team, they're getting by mostly on the fact that their play styles just somehow mesh just enough to make them a good team. But my perception is that Hungrybox always takes doubles like somewhat lackadaisically, and Plup's just like having a good time, but not necessarily playing doubles for just purely for doubles sake. And then you have, but then you have doubles players going really far, beating teams like Plup and Hungrybox sparingly, not often, but sparingly. And it's just really exciting when that happens because it's fun to see the potential of static teams maybe starting to turn around and become a thing, but it takes people like Sheridan and other tournament organizers to give doubles more of a spotlight and for all the players to not complain about it, because as fun as it is to have it on Sunday, you know that if anybody's crossed over, like if JBDW's in top 4 and they also are both in top 8 singles, they're going to be annoyed about having to play doubles and singles on the same day for Championship Sunday, the Melee that matters the most. They will be annoyed about it, which makes me annoyed, but I'm not the tournament organizer. It's not my job to stress about that. I'm just hoping for some good Melee.
Yeah. Real quick, I remembered another. Rocky Azel. Rocky Azel's another.
Yes. No, you're right. I think, what was the event most recently other than Big House? There was another event where there was some good doubles, but I'm having a hard time. I think it was main stage. Didn't Rocky and Azel go pretty far for main stage doubles? I have to look at that bracket again. While I'm looking at that, why don't you talk about whether or not you're going to go to Genesis 9? Are you going to Genesis 9?
So I am not going to Genesis 9. Usually I'll go to things like I go to what's the name? The Kalahari. Riptide. I go to Riptide because it's like a 4-hour drive from
Midwest.
Midwest, that's right. But my mindset for Genesis is like I'm already sending 3 people to Genesis. Like I'd rather send people than go. So that's usually how I view tournaments. So I don't really plan on ever going to any other tournaments besides ones I could drive to. So I might go to a big house, but I'll usually just go to Riptide, and that'll be my like. I don't even compete when I go because I'm babysitting 5 adults. But so no, I don't plan on going. I'm not a huge fan of travel, and yeah, like I said, I'd rather just send people. And I'm already sending 3, so pockets kind of light right now. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yeah. No, we're both looking. We're both looking. We
Yeah,
are free agents
yeah,
to the capitalist world.
that's right.
Please.
'Cause
Okay. Yeah.
we
Well, sorry. Go
we've
ahead.
sorry, we've got Dan, also known as Swift, Justice, and Durai are all going to
I know who Swift
Genesis.
and Justice are. Who's Durai?
Durai is a top 15 level rivals player that we have on our team.
Very
He's a major
cool.
player.
Very cool. I mean, all I know about Rivals for the most part is that it takes heaven and earth to beat Cake Assault right now. That's all I know.
Yes, yes. Sega is the only one who's beaten him this season. I'm pretty sure. I
Yeah, I
could be
remember
wrong.
hearing everybody was like, obviously
That was
shouts out to Wisely. Wisely, I don't know if you know this, Wisely, but you're my connect to other platform
Why is this my
fighters.
goat? Yeah, why is this my goat?
Yeah.
He's the goat commentator in my opinion, but that might be a Midwest biased.
Well,
Uh,
the combination that I've always wanted, and I don't know how often it's actually happened, but Wisely and Stewed are put them together. My gosh.
it's P plus, especially some P plus commentary. Dude, wisely, I need that.
It's too bad because what is happening just coincidentally the same weekend and very close to Genesis is Exodus. I don't know.
Yes, I've
Within
also heard in the same venue, but that's all coincidence.
purely coincidental, and it's
Purely
Brawl, obviously,
coincidental.
of course.
Brawl, vanilla brawl.
Check the disc.
Check the disc. That's right.
Or the lack of one. Now that I'm looking
Yeah.
at the main stage, it was actually Umarth and Azel teaming, and they
Mm.
got fifth. They tied for fifth because in the loser semi, they lost to SVAD and Crudo, which, by the way, how crazy is that? Because was not expecting SVAT and Crudo to team of all combinations, right? But
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
pretty good, solid team. Obviously, SVAT is an amazing doubles player, but Crudo, I mean, how do you even
Very
do
solid.
practice when you have to connect cross country and then connect to
I
another team, right? It's
I
crazy.
feel like they probably just better played them. I don't think Karuto's that much of a doubles player usually, but I could be wrong.
I mean, I think the based on the matches that I remember seeing, I remember watching. I think it was roughly top four, so I think I did see the Crudo SFAT Umar Thazel said, and then losers finals when SFAT and Crudo pushed Ralph Dark Atma to game 5, but then lost, and Ralph Dark Atma did the grand finals reset versus Fat Goku Ginger, but then Fat Goku Ginger won the reset after just make your adjustments and then kind of better character because
Mm-hmm.
it's tough when there's a fox and a falco or a fox and a fox on the screen. It's tough.
Yeah, tough. Ban Fox. I'm just kidding.
I was about to say, when you're in doubles land, you kind of have to let everything go.
Yeah.
I mean, from my own perspective, I
I mean,
go,
wobbling's still legal in doubles.
can we please add some more stages to doubles? Because that's what I want. I want Pokemon floats. I want all the Donkey Kong stages. Let's do Icicle Mountain for doubles. How cool would that be? Because you're already introducing extra chaos. Look, most of us have a hard time watching on Battlefield, but if we're watching Icicle Mountain, we're just seeing how easily the players can keep up with the stage change, because that's the fun part to me. But obviously the players would hate it. But I'm just saying that'd be super funny, or at
I
least
could
fun
talk,
to me.
yeah, I could talk about crazy rule sets all the time. I have a rule set called the Bells rule set, which I think will solve all of our floaty problems in Melee, by the way. You let me know what you think. When
Hit
the
me.
whole Puff Peach Discord was going on, I was in Discord with like Justice and all of them. I was like, I can solve our problem. Whenever anyone goes into a match who are playing either like Peach, Puff, or anyone that's like that light a ditto of weight classes, you got to RPS, and whoever loses, they have to pick a fast faller. So we never have to see floaty dittos anymore. And then everyone also has to practice fast fallers. So I mean, that sounds like the perfect idea to me.
Wow. That would solve it, but make people so mad. There are people who already
What?
want to get rid of RPS or other things. They'll just pick Game and Watch to see who gets the first 9.
Oh yeah, yeah. I see that in that club a lot.
Yeah, because
And I
Aklo
see
loves
people do
doing
that.
it.
Yeah. And so I understand, especially that I'm close friends with a Pikachu main. That is, uh, port priority is a huge, huge deal in a lot of their matchups, and I hear a lot of slight complaining about port priority in that sense, because it's literally like Dan Swift will tell me like it will like change your matchup by like 5 to 10 points depending on like the port you get, especially like Sheik. Like it's really rough apparently.
My thought on floaty matchups is why not do the coordinate idea, the King of the Hill idea, where you get a
Mm-hmm.
percentage of how close were you to 0.0 for the center of the stage if the game goes to time, regardless of what happens. It doesn't matter if you've been planking the ledge, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you've been air camping, because if
Mm-hmm.
whoever's closest to the center of the stage the most wins the game. I thought that was a really cool idea because I'm always in for using more Slippy because,
Yeah.
I don't care what Nintendo does. We're just going to use Slippy and use it forever. Amen.
Yes,
So
yes,
that was
yes.
that's what
Hallelujah.
I really subscribed to during that time.
I honestly think that is the best case. I think that is the best idea we've had so far because no matter what character you play, you should be playing for center stage. Like at least from my perspective. Like the problem with the other ones, like air limit timer, like that only nerfs like Puff and Peach. Where when you're just trying to stay in the center, that keeps it even for everyone. I mean, everyone's even Puff wants to be in the center and just back air you towards the edge of the stage. Like it, I think that that is the best case scenario if we were to drastically change stuff like that. But we, the melee community has a really great track record of going through and changing things. So actually
Look,
getting down to it.
look. If we're not going to be super concerned about Nintendo involvement, let's just keep pushing it away from the OG game. You know how we always say, this game is
Free
unpatched,
stadium.
it's patched.
Yes. Yes.
It's
Yep.
never had any optimizations. All right, let's slow down. UCF has been a thing for forever now. But
Mm-hmm.
I know there are also people. I mean, I talked with PGH Carroll recently who cares a lot about the spirit of Melee surviving.
Mm-hmm.
So at the very least, what I will say is this: when off season came around and made Mute City legal for singles, I
That was
thought
awesome.
I need one tournament a year where we do this times 10
Yeah.
steroids. We'll do it for charity. I don't care what we got to do to make the players not care, but also show up and play because oh my gosh, J-Mook versus Axe on Mute City,
Mm-hmm.
perfect. Amsa versus J-Mook on Mute City, perfection. I
Yeah.
was having a great time watching that, and I think a lot of people did as well, more than they cared to admit,
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's what's super
I
cool
love
about
it.
Melee. It's not just the 5 stages and 2 spacies. Look, you could have so much more variety, even if back in the OG days there were people who either took too much advantage of the stage or there was just too many results skewed by it. That's fine. If we do one tournament a year where the results are a little skewed by Mute City
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what if we turned on items? Would it really kill you to do one tournament a year like that? I don't think so. It sounds like a lot of fun
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Have like that one with the still have it be like the legal parameters, like rule set, but have like the different stages. Maybe have like a side bracket with items on. I think that'd be pretty sick.
I think main stage had a bracket with no, not with items on. Somebody else did that recently, which I thought was cool. I just like
Sounds familiar.
it's also really appealing to somebody who's newer to the game of going, oh,
Hmm.
whew, there's something that I might be able to like do. I could grab an
Yeah, yeah,
item.
yeah,
I could throw a
yeah,
Pokemon ball.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time.
Melee is very enjoyable as it is now, but I
Hmm.
must say after watching enough of it, it's not that I've gotten tired of the normal format, but what I hear are people saying let's make it more rigid, and I just push back and I say, but what if we just threw in items and they're and you can see the anger rising. Of they were talking about fixing the ledges on Battlefield or making the platforms
Oh, you
still
can't
on
do
Fountain of
that.
Dreams, and I'm saying
Yeah.
let's do items. Like they just automatically hate me, and
All
it's all
all they
good.
have to do, okay, ban FOD, okay? FOD stole my car, man. Like I did not trust that stage. The all they have to do, they just have to do what P Plus did. If they want to patch it out, if we're gonna froze the stadium, make the platforms not go into the ground. That's all they gotta do. P Plus has been doing it for years. Just make them go up and down, but not fully into the stages. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Listening to the Homie podcast, the Homie Stocks podcast. You go, wait, Melee still uses unfrozen FOD?
Yeah, exactly. It's insane. I don't know.
Talk to me about some of your favorite things about playing P Plus, because I only just recently put it onto my computer and I'm going to be playing it here, I think, while I'm still gainfully unemployed. Dabble around with, see how my automatic L canceling link can do on the
Hmm.
sticks, because I
Hmm.
believe in my automatic L canceling link. I really do.
Uh, well, I don't like automatic L canceling, but um, I personally like P plus more. It's almost more nostalgic. It's what I started with. Um, but I also feel like you can be more like people are like in melee you can express yourself however you want to with your playstyle. I feel like P plus is even a bigger extension of that because there's like twice as many characters. Like you can't replicate the way that a Squirtle plays in P plus in melee. I think you can play Pichu. Like that might be it though. Like you can't. There's not a character that you can go back and play. It's just I like the roster. I like it. It's just silly. I like the cheese. I live for the cheese. I don't know. I started in Smash 4 competitively. I live for it. I live for the cheese. I live for stupid stuff. And I don't know. I think the community's sick. I honestly don't know. I've just always been more drawn to it. It feels almost more like everyone's there to have a good time. There's not many people who are there that are just like hard focused on winning. I mean, you obviously want to win, but like I've gone to multiple regionals. I haven't been to any P plus majors yet, but I've been to regionals and all this, and everyone is just like always on the. We're always the same vibe. We show up, we're having fun. People playing doubles. Bowser Puff versus Ike Meta Knight. I don't know what's going on. They're doing stupid stuff. Bowser's command throwing into Puff's rest. Everybody's laughing. It's just I don't know. It's just a vibe. I like it. I don't know how to explain it. It's just super sick. I can't wait for rollback.
Yes, I saw the update from the Brawlback team. I mean,
Mm.
first of all, shouts out to Pine. I'm sorry that to hear that Pine's not working on the project anymore, but just the fact that Pine did a lot of the netcode work, and then there, that's crazy to me that a lot of what it takes is getting a code going up and running, and then you have to start to iron out all the bugs and issues that come up with it. But reading on it, it made me think this does seem to be, I mean, they didn't promise a timeline, so it seems like we're going to still be waiting for a while until it becomes a reality. But something that I thought was really cool that I also am worried about is the future of God of the Mod. Like, what happened to that?
Mm.
I know that Nintendo like took down Mango's VODs from his YouTube channel, but
Yeah.
but why did we get some God of the Mod after all this Smash World Tour and Panda stuff happening? You know what I'm saying? I Good luck telling Mango what to do, by the way. Saber's doing God's
Yeah.
work, obviously, but
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
I would like to see some of that as well. But when rollback comes after that, I will absolutely
It's gonna be huge.
be checking that out, and a lot of people will for sure.
Yeah. The thing with I think rollback has a couple months to go. They said they're pretty close. It's up and running. They're just ironing some stuff out, obviously. And then God of the Mod, it's just Saber going like, I just got to work with Mango. And dude, quick side note, I don't know how much you know about Saber. I'm sure you know he's like the goat of like
Friend of the
P plus
program.
managing. Oh, really?
But I don't
Like
know
I,
everything about. Okay, I was just making sure I've had Saber on. Saber's a friend of the program.
mhm. The I learned this the other day, like a month ago probably. They were just tweeting out like, yeah, I might not be able to help as much with P plus for the coming months because I've been um what is it? it's not hired, but like when I've been promoted. Like I've been promoted to overseeing all of the workers' comp, whatever, for the state of California or something like they're like this massive job that's like so much responsibility on top of being the goat of the P plus community. I'm like, how do they have time to do everything that they do? It's insane.
The
They
entire
fly.
and California is not a chill
It's
state.
massive. Yeah, no, it's massive. It's crazy. They're the goat.
I mean this politely,
So,
but think about a Midwest state and the workers' comp
yeah,
claims
no,
versus California. I mean, somebody could
yeah,
pinch their finger and be like, in California
yeah,
and go and
yeah,
get
yeah,
workers' comp. Not to be that mean, but you know,
yeah.
California,
I,
you're kind of deserving of that comment, so I'm just
yeah.
gonna let that sit there. And
Cal-
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I was gonna say California's like 3 Illinois, so
And that's the other thing, it's huge. Yes.
massive. Yeah.
I'm excited to go for the first time though, because I've this
Are
trip
you
to
going to Jenny?
yeah, it's booked and paid for before I got laid off, so I intend on going. So the only way it doesn't work out is if my new prospective employer is not chill. So I'm
Yeah,
hoping that they are chill.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I will be going, and I'm excited to see the state for the first time. I'm sure it'll be beautiful. I'm sure I'll go out of it saying, "Wow, it's really beautiful out here. Glad I don't live here," because that's kind of what I've done for anywhere I've been to, like being up to New York City and seeing, oh, it's massive, massive buildings and everything. That's cool, but I'm still glad I don't live here. We don't have a Midwest vibe in Pennsylvania, but I think the fact that we don't have all of these suburbs squished together constantly like it is near Philadelphia, and then obviously New York City being its own beast. I like the fact that I can look outside and see cornfields, because that's what it is for Lancaster. We have the Amish out here, so it's nice that there's a little bit of both. There are people who are connected to the rest of the world, and then there are people who, yeah, they hardly know what a cell phone is.
There's my barn. I don't know if you can see it with the bright lights coming through.
No, you're in heaven right now. I don't see where you actually are.
There's a barn and cornfield right outside of my window. That's the level of Midwest I live in.
Whoa, is that G-Dubs TV with the Bell's Mango Pog emote? Let's go, G-Dubs. Who I really want to have on the podcast, actually. So let me throw a heart in that direction.
G-Dubs is good. G-Dubs does a lot of work with Justice.
Yes, because some of those edits.
One of the best combo video editors out there, honestly.
G-Dubs, I'm glad that G-Dubs works on a team that can actually pay G-Dubs for the work and make it a viable career. But the fact that G-Dubs still comes back into Melee, I love that. I love that.
Editor for Purple Cliff or whatever they're called. Big YouTube editor on top of Melee combo video maker.
We have so many talented people in the community. I'm so glad that, again, G-Dubs is being rewarded by being an editor for Purple Cliff, but then coming back and still making sick Melee edits with Justice.
And then I'm just here, existing in the community. All these other crazy people. It's crazy, man. I feel so out of place in my, because like the way that I see it, and I hope that I'm not like egotistical in the sense, but like when I think of like the main mid-level esports team, I think of Conduit, all chat, and Pulse. Those are the three that I go to first. But I mean, we're the original three that kind of came out of the woodwork in 2020, I guess. But I mean, I'm happy to see some new ones come up. Sly Fox is up there with us. Pudding Frog's been around. They're pretty under the radar, but they've got some good players. Pudding Frog.
And then I guess Wolfpack Gaming picked up a couple of people as well.
Wolfpack has been incorporated with Sly Fox now.
Oh, okay. So that's how that works.
Yeah. And so all their players have, I don't know if it was a merger, if it was a takeover, I don't know how it worked, but all their old players are with Sly Fox now, which is cool. And then there's also Brotherly Love Esports, who has Slug.
Gene is so cool.
Philadelphia. Who is that? The owner of Brotherly Love?
Yeah. I mean, Gene's like posting on Twitter. Does anybody want a Smash themed beer? I could probably get one made.
That's pretty sick. So
cool. When
I
I
don't know.
interviewed Gene, he had like 10 CRTs just casually sitting behind him. Like, that's how you know. That's
That's
how
cool.
you know.
That's how you know I'm new to this scene. I had one CRT. I gave it to my brother, but like I have a Wii with P Plus on it, and that's the only setup I have. Everything else is on my computer.
Look, not everybody can be somebody who totes around 10. Look, I mean, shouts out to Deer, somebody else who knows how to load up a minivan with 20
Yeah,
CRTs, but not
gamer.
everybody's like that. I would tell you that the value that you add through Pulse is very meaningful because you've picked up players who are absolutely worth watching and following along with. And the what I really like the most is, and I think what Conduit Gaming does really well is finding players also around NASB and running tournaments for that
Mhm.
game because Kristav cares a lot about NASB. So that's cool. And then all chat with running Tired of Odin 2 and running the Salt Mine. That's really cool. And they give commentators like Hada and Yokai Nels a chance to be able to hone their craft, get some good tape out there, as they say, and be able to commentate bigger events. I remember, especially for Hada, who hasn't been able to travel this year, I'm personally invested in myself because he's so cool. And I just think you get Hada somewhere on the mic and
Yeah.
talk about Melee, he's going to do great regardless of who he's with. So
Mhm.
I'm hoping that Hada gets a chance to commentate some big events this upcoming year. But
For
but
sure.
then what Pulse does, and I think Justice is one of the big engines behind this, is the combo video stuff, the content, because
Hmm.
at the end of the day, something that everybody enjoys is watching some sick melee. So even if combo videos don't have the same prominence they had before, where there were 15 people doing it at the most, there'd be
Hmm.
one YouTube video a month to react to on Smashboards.
Hmm.
There are new videos that come out every day for combo videos, if I had to guess, with
Yeah.
Melee. And some of
Yeah.
them are really, really cool. Dangerously under the radar, that kind of thing. It's unfortunate that they don't get the same love that combo videos got back in the day. But when you have a player like Justice who can back it up on the sticks as well as make that really cool stuff, teaming up G dubs or otherwise, that's what I
Hmm.
really like to see. And my standpoint is Pulse is helping to continue to facilitate that, if that makes sense,
Hmm.
because even if you're not being rewarded through getting lots and lots of views, at least there's a little bit of something, a little bit of a crawl. I don't want to motivate myself by how much support I get through the Patreon page that I have. It just allows me to be able to put it raw right back into Melee, to travel to big events and be part of the community. So I mean, when I was laid off, I told everybody in my server, like, we're not gonna use any money to pay bills from the Patreon. We're just gonna keep it moving and put it right back into Melee. So I think the spirit of behind Pulse should come through pretty clearly, but even in a practical sense, I think it does more than you realize.
Sure. Appreciate it. Yeah. I see. I don't know. I feel like the reason I still see us as the big three is because we all do stuff separate from Melee as well. Like you'll see, I think about it a lot because I'm very like esports brain now. Like I just see everything. I'm very cued into the scene of like medium sized teams. Like you look at Kreestab, they have like 15 players, man. Like they are sending 15 players around the world at the same time, including like Eddie, Mexico, Zealot, like these crazy players. But in my mind, they stick out to me because they're the most, I think, outreaching out even outside of the community. They're huge in NASB. They're huge in Slap City. I'm sure they'll be huge in Rivals 2 when that comes out.
Oh my
They're
gosh, yeah.
they're very I don't know. They just want and they run a lot of tournaments. They want to help as many, at least from my perspective, they want to help as many people as they can. I respect that a lot. They spread as much as they can, and then I feel like we have a lot of content, which is cool and all. Um, but the thing about all chat that I see that's the biggest is I don't know if you feel the same way. I think if anyone's gonna make it out the same way Panda did, because Panda used to be Grassroots, if anyone's gonna shoot up to like a real like high tier esports team, I think it's gonna be all chat. They have the business brain. I've talked to Slumlord multiple times, and like I'm really excited to see what they do with their team because I feel like if any of them are going to be able to become self-sufficient, it's going to be them. And people should like kind of follow after how they do business if they want to have a successful team. I think it's just impressive what they've done, honestly.
Yes, I absolutely love the fact that Slumlord has been able to gather sponsors for Salt Mine. When I talked to him at Pound in April, we did an interview in person there. It was so fun to talk to
Yes.
Slumlord. You could just tell, and I think when you think about objectively, start an org in Melee during this time and coming out of the pandemic, pretty poor timing, and yet I think All Chat has a really good shot to not only stick around but be able to grow. And I feel that way for Conduit Gaming as well because of like you said, like cross game presence.
Mhm.
That's a big way to continue to push that name out. And then maybe there's a chance, what if you just find the biggest Rivals 2 player before anybody else, even if the
Hey,
biggest Rival 2 player might actually just be Cake Assault. But that game looks suspiciously closer to Melee than Rivals 1. I mean, they have shields and stuff, so
if
who
if
knows?
if I were to guess, Cake Assault's gonna come out the gate swinging because it's just Rivals plus Melee, and Cake Assault already plays Melee. I don't know if you know that or not.
Oh my gosh, you're right. I
If,
forgot. Isn't
if
Oh my gosh, he has like a platinum ranking in Slippy Rank, doesn't he?
they're very good at Melee. I don't know if you've ever seen the image they posted on Twitter a while back, but they just posted the top 8 graphic, and it was literally first place was Franz, and then he was second place, and then everyone else in the top 8 was Dr. Mario, and he just said, "Fuck you guys and fuck your stupid Dr. Mario world," because he plays Fox, and then everyone else in the top 8 was Dr. Mario. That's
That
a I'll have to find that picture. It's so funny. But yeah, he plays a lot of Melee, and then our player Durai has been playing Melee in preparation for Rivals too. So I feel like they'll have a pretty good chance of being the top player as well. It'll be fun.
Very cool. Let's go, Durai. And what do you think of Durai's chances for competing at Genesis 9? I mean, if you say top 15, it's tough because you're talking about somebody like, okay, that might be mean of me to say Kadoran, but Kadoran is probably, I don't expect Kadoran to land in the top 10. So Kadoran is top 15 Melee player for
Hmm.
this year. It's not a guarantee that he makes top 8. So I'm just curious
Yeah.
what you think of Durai. You can be as biased as you want, by the way. That is your job,
So
so I recognize that.
so so the idea behind, especially when we picked up Durai, the way that we went around getting Durai is I had a Twitch like tab open. I was slowing my computer down. Um, he tweeted out one day, and I follow him because I'm really into Rivals. Used to play Rivals competitively. Never good, but I like the game. And he just tweeted out one day. He was like, "Does anyone want to help me get to?" I think um, it was Heat Wave and Back in Blood. And I just DM'd him because at the time I had some extra cash. I was like, "Hey, I'd be interested in helping you out." For Pulse, if you just want to be like a temporary, team member. And one thing led to another. They were under our tag for Riptide through Back in Blood, everything they did, and they won Back in Blood over Elkies, who's like a top 10 perennial player, very good player. And they also for Heat Wave made top 8, and that's one of their biggest tournaments they've got. They made quite a few upsets, and like I wasn't planning on keeping them on the team to be honest, because like it's a Melee team. But like it's literally just like I helped them out, and then their stock just went, and I was like, let's see how this goes. I'm actually interested because I met them at Riptide. They're very nice. I like them. That's a big deal for me to be on my team. As I, be personal. I like you. You work well with the team, and
Sorry.
so
That
it's just it's just they're stuck with, and I was like, I was discussing with them because the contract ended that we had with them, and I was like, I don't know if we'll be able to keep you on the team. And then they told me like what they're planning on doing next year. I was like, you know what, let's do this. Let's get you on the team. I like what's going on. I like Rivals. Rivals 2 is going to come out in like a year and a half. Let's just do it. I've got the money for it now. And it's just I wasn't planning on having a Rivals player. It just kind of happened. So, but Jirai is a super cool dude. Sorry, I kind of got off topic from your question. Basically, when I first picked him up. I think his rank last year was like 23rd, so they're already good. Um, but like they just outplacing their seed every time. Like at Double Down, because they went to Double Down before I had sponsored them, they got fourth, which that was a big tournament. Then the next one I remember was Riptide, which they got upset. They didn't do too great there. I don't remember what they placed. But that also is one of, I think that might be their biggest tournament if it's not Genesis. And then obviously they got first at Back in Blood and then got seventh at Heatwave. So like they've made quite a few top 8 appearances. They're very, very good. So I feel confident putting them at top 15. It's just hard because the top 10 in Rivals is like Rivals is a very, very, very top heavy game. I've learned this the hard way. Um, and like breaking into the top 10 of Rivals is just it's just such a huge gap. Like looking at it, so I don't know where they'll place, but they are very, very good at the game. I'd say at least top 15 at this point, but we'll just see.
Looking forward to seeing what Deride does at Genesis 9. Let's go. So the last topic is, and you can answer this as quickly or as longly. Nope. You can answer this as quickly or as slowly as you like. Since you're now gainfully unemployed, what's the panic level? Because my panic level mostly just consists of, will I be able to attend Genesis 9 like I've been planning for 6 months? So what's it like for you? Because your players are going ha ha ha, and you're going ha ha ha. Yeah.
I'm straight chilling, man. The thing about my esports team, which is what I like, is, and I refer to my team less of a esports team and more of a passion project. Um, there's no contracts involved in my team. I'm very, very close friends with all the people on my team. I've known them for a while, at least 2 years. Jiraiya's the only one I'm not that way with, but I've explained to them how the team worked, and they were still fine with it. Like you don't get paid to be on our team. There's no salary. You basically get paid with being sent to tournaments. So basically, you'll tell me like a month and a half, 2 months ahead, I want to go to this, and then I'll get it set up. You'll get a flight, you'll get hotel, you'll get paid to go, and you don't got to worry about anything. That's how the team works. And so this has happened once before the first Riptide. Luckily, it smoothed out. But I'm just like, hey, in between jobs, pulse funds might be a bit low, and they're very like, okay, it is what it is. Hopefully, we can get to what we need to, but if not, we understand. So that's usually I'm not too worried about it. I've got a chunk of change put back. I get like 2 weeks of severance, I think, since my job just like dissolved. It's not my fault. I got let go or anything.
Yep, me too.
So
It's not my fault either, and yet it happened. What gives?
yes.
What gives?
Yeah, it's just I said I don't know when you got let go, but I got let go last Tuesday, and well, it was supposed to be a safety meeting. They basically lied to us.
Yeah,
We
no, they
showed up.
jumped you. Okay, so I was like
Yeah.
on Tuesday, December 5th. You were like on Tuesday, December 12th, it sounds like.
Yeah. No, like for real though, like they got us in a room. They're like, it's a safety meeting. If you don't show up, you're fired. We all show up, and they were like, yeah, sorry, we've sold the company to a rival company in these 3 states or whatever. And I just, everyone's so upset. I have very low stakes. I'm only 22. I don't got lots of bills to pay. I don't have any kids or anything. And so I just go, well, I better be seeing Santa Claus because this is a Christmas movie. I'm getting fired 2 weeks before Christmas. They didn't think that joke was funny. I thought it was hilarious. I was like, I better be seeing Santa Claus, man. I better be going to the North Pole getting fired this close to Christmas, man.
And you're thinking to yourself, after not getting a warm reception to the joke, don't think I'll be having any of these people on
Yeah.
Pulse. Don't seem very chill.
No, they didn't like the joke.
I mean,
Very, very tough crowd.
the stakes are a little tough for me because I got the mortgage and the kids and the wife, but I just have to keep it moving. And what I was just like, okay, because what am I supposed to do? They've already made up their mind. It's not an opportunity for me to say no, please, because I have no interest in doing that. So there's it pretty much going home thinking about how am I going to start applying to jobs, basically. So
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. And I'm assuming you're
Yeah.
applying as well in some capacity. So good luck
Hmm.
out there, Bells. I hope
Yeah.
you find a position that's the right fit for you. The same thing that I've been hearing people tell me, I will tell you the same thing. I hope you find a good fit.
Thank you. Yeah, I've just been playing P plus by myself in my room on that play, just enjoying
Woo!
myself. Dude, I tell you what, they did me so dirty. I don't know if you've ever had to work with the unemployment system or whatever.
I don't.
They did me.
I assumed I would have a job by now, so I didn't even. I just
Yeah,
looked into it and I decided that seems like a lot just to collect half of what I was making. So never mind.
yeah. They did me so dirty. Unemployment accepted me in 6 hours. They must have gotten like 12 different like forms from the same reasons, and they're like, okay, just put them through.
Put them through. But
Yeah.
still,
So
I really honestly thought I should just only have to apply to like 3 or 4 ideal
it's always
positions.
a pain. Yeah,
But I had interviews today, so maybe we'll get somewhere. Maybe we won't. We shall see.
for sure. Yeah, it's always a good time. Yeah, the job hunt.
Mm-hmm. But I still don't recommend it to anybody. So if
Oh
you want
no.
to do that on the side and then quit your job instead of just being out in the wind, I think it's a lot less
Hmm.
stressful that way. I should have done it like that, I guess, but I didn't know that was going to happen
Yeah.
either.
No, yeah. I learned and was fired in the same day. So
Exactly.
I feel like I didn't have much of a choice.
Just having a normal ops meeting. Hey, where is everybody? We have some
Yeah,
really bad
no.
news. And I said, what? Or we're going to go to the Eagles game? Because that was my joke. And they're like, no, it's actually bad news. Close the door. And I went, oh, oh,
Oh,
oh.
yeah, no. The worst part is I've worked for two companies that do the same job, Home City and Arctic. I left Home City to go to Arctic like 4 months ago, and the guy who walked in was the old boss I used to work for at the other company. And I was like, "What's up, Silver? What's going on?" And he was like, "Hi, Jared." I didn't think anything of it. And then he was like, "So we bought your guys' company." And I was not offered to go to the other place because I left for specific I don't like Silver. I just want to make that I didn't like the guy, so
So
he did
you're
not
like
offer
looking
me.
at someone coming in and being like, oh, I'm not happy to see you, but I guess I'll be
I
nice.
so it was really messed up because I was happy to see Silver because I was like, yes, he fine because I didn't talk to him after I left. I was like, so he gets to see me working for the competition. I was like, this is funny. He gets to see that I left for the better company, and then he reverses it on me. He's like, so we bought the company. I was like, dude, come on.
Don't worry, your
So,
rivalry's not over yet. By the
uh,
way, you're literally talking about a character from Cobra Kai right now. That's
oh
literally
really? I
how
was
do we
my,
take down Silver is literally not said less than one time per episode. It's said at least one time per episode. We gotta take down Silver.
my but
You know a real
my
person who goes by Silver. That's crazy.
yeah. My buddies in the Discord are like, just think that they bought the company to get back at you. They just dislike you that much. I was like, that's what I'll go with. They bought the company just to spite me.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna buy the company again. You're a money boss.
Yeah. Take him out of a job. That's the only reason why we're gonna buy it. But hey, I've been chilling. I get like 2 weeks severance plus vacation time that I didn't use, plus like that week's worth this week sometimes. So I'm gonna be sitting on a cool couple of G's, which is nice. That'll help with some expenses when people get to Genesis. Um, because I'll just get messages for Ubers. They're like, I need money for an Uber, and I was like, okay. And so I'm like get up at 3 in the morning to a Discord call because I'm on call 24/7. That's my job. I babysit adults. So there was. Are we over time? I'm sorry. I love to talk.
No, you're fine. We're doing fine.
I was gonna say one of my very first memories is the first time I managed IRL was at Riptide One in 2021, and the first time I was like, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. Was I got woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning after just going crazy the last day of Riptide to like two of my players who were like, hey, we need rides to the to the airport because if we don't go now, we'll miss our flights, which will cost them like hundreds of dollars. In turn, me hundreds of dollars. And then and they're like, the shuttle isn't working because I don't know if you know anything about Riptide 1. The shuttle just didn't show up the last day, and like
Whoa.
people had to Uber to the airport. And so I'm like barely coherent driving these guys to the airport, and I was like, this sucks, dude. I don't know if I can do this. This part of the job sucks. But yeah, I was not about to pay $120 for an Uber because like it was $120 for people to Uber to the airport from
Well,
the
that's because
Colorado.
what I did hear about Riptide was that Uber wasn't really Uber. It was owned by a lady who
Yeah.
owned the whole town public
Hmm.
transportation stuff, like
Yeah.
a mob queen.
It was like insanely expensive to drive anywhere through like some services.
Any
But
service,
yeah,
they're all like, if you try to drive and this lady will find you and be like, no, actually, you work for me now. Like,
yeah.
what?
Yeah, it's Ohio, man. Ohio's crazy, bro. I tell people, they're like, Ohio's so boring. I'm like, if you know what happens in Ohio, you wouldn't think Ohio's boring. Literally, so what I explain to people why, so I have to defend Indiana. I live in Indiana, right? People are like, you're worse than Ohio. We're not, okay? And I explain this. There is a road that goes from Canada to Mexico, and it goes through Ohio. And once you hit Ohio, there's another road that goes from the East Coast to the West Coast. That's where the main drug trafficking of all of the United States starts in like Dayton, Ohio. That's why Dayton, Ohio is a joke. And so I'm like, we're not that bad. We don't facilitate the drug trade in America. You cannot like compare us to Ohio. It's not that bad. I promise. There's just lots of cord.
And it's
But
also flat as hell. But yeah.
yeah,
No, no.
a lot of people just see Midwest and they're like flat and corn. That's all you guys have. And I'm like, no, we have lots of drugs too. We spice it up a bit out here sometimes, you know.
Not
But
everybody's
you,
just like keeping their head down and grinding. A few of you are looking up and going like, I need narcotics.
yeah, no, we live in the cornfields. Like we come in and out of the cornfields. It's
Mm.
just where we reside, I guess. Like I said, there's literally a barn.
Well, the reason why
Uh,
I couldn't live in a place like Indiana is because I need hills and
but
cornfields.
why? But why? Why do you need hills though? Is there a reason?
You feel so superior at the top of one of them.
No. Dude, I could buy a house for a cow out here, man. I don't understand why people turn their noses up to it.
I'm not turning my nose up. I'm just going.
You think you're
I
better
can't.
than
I
me.
can neither turn it up nor
Yeah,
down. I'm
yeah,
going.
you think you're better than me up on that hill over there.
It's so flat here. I mean, I
Yeah,
stayed out there for a week when I was a teenager to at somebody's house. They were very nice, and it was a nice house.
yeah.
And I would go outside and I would go,
It's awesome. You could just see for miles.
uh,
It
it
hurts
it
your eyes.
it hurts. It hurt my eyes. I mean, being in New York City hurt my eyes. I think
Yeah.
mostly it just has to do with the fact that growing up in PA, because I've been in this state my whole life, this is what
Mm,
I'm used to. So when I go to a place, I expect that when I go to San Jose, I'll be like, why are we surrounded by mountains, man? Or however it goes. I mean, when we were out in
yeah.
Colorado, I was hating the fact that I was constantly out of breath when I would go up the
Yeah, it's
stairs.
such a high elevation. Yeah.
Yeah, but I got used to it after a little bit, but then it was so dry because it's cold and dry, hands start
Hmm.
cracking and
Yeah.
I'm going, "Oh, right. This is the part that I didn't have to experience the last time I was out in Colorado. We were out in Colorado in August of 2017. There were no bugs.
Yeah.
It was warm. It was nice. It was
Yeah.
great. Great time. But Colorado in November,
Yeah.
not.
Start putting eye drops in. The wind's hitting your face.
Yes, that was a little more difficult to entirely put up with all of that extra shenanigans. And Colorado, Denver area is more like it is in November than it is in August. So
Mm.
lots of cold weather.
For sure. Yeah. I've never been out there, but I know a couple people. Shout out to my boy Secrets.
So then, are you going to ever travel to a tournament? Or are you just saying travel sucks and I want to get other people there? You're never gonna go to a Genesis or.
I I've told people that I will go to a Genesis at some point. This one is not the one though. I've got three people going.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'd rather go to a Canadian tournament than go to one over here. Honestly, I'd
Battle
like to go to a
BC5.
Gommel or Battle of BC, one of those. I think I'll have to update my passport, but I'd like to go to one of those. They seem pretty sick.
Yeah, I really
And
want to go out to Vancouver, but I do not know if I will be able to or not. But we'll see. I mean, I know
yeah.
Deer wants me to go, DM'd me to say go to Battle BC4, and I went, oh, I wish. Believe
Yeah,
me, if I could,
yeah.
I would. You're not
That's
paying me to
messed
go,
up.
right?
Yeah. That's my new thing I'm gonna start doing. I'm just gonna start guilt tripping people into putting. Do you know the I can't remember what they're called. When you make like when you're doing a bigger tournament, because I've helped with big regionals, a compendium, is that what they're called?
Yeah, yeah. You're
Compendium.
trying to help
I'm,
fund travel
yeah,
of top
I'm gonna
players to the.
I'm gonna start personally DMing anyone I can to guilt trip them into like sending my players out, so I don't have to pay for them. I was thinking about that the other day, just going in and be like, "Hey, you want to help my player?" Start DMing the Genesis, the people who run Genesis who don't have enough time to deal with me. Just be like, "Hey, what's
Hmm.
up?" I have a question.
I can't believe that like all the things that they have to deal with from even just from the outside looking in, just so many shenanigans.
I've had to help with regionals, and I'm like, this is, and I didn't even do that much. I just like ran the merchandise and like stuff, and I'm just like, it was a regional. Like the best person that came out was Fiction. It was We Need Some Space 3, amazing tournament, amazingly ran by Bullet Blitz and Acid, two very good Indiana TOs. But I'm just like sitting there like just like sweating at the thought of what they're doing. Like all I'm doing is having to make the merch and like run the shipments and all this, and I'm just like we were like 9 months out, and I'm like doing this, and I'm like, this is a lot, just to run this like 1 day regional. It's crazy, and then like I can't even imagine like a Genesis level event, like having to be the head of one of those, like the stress of the thought, like especially now with like how SWT got shut down, like they've got to have the thought in the back of their head, like what if like the Nintendo Ninjas show up and I'm just like in $100,000 like worth of debt because I can't run this event.
Exactly. That's the scary part, but
I can't.
I'm with Scar. Let's fight. Let's make them. I
Yeah.
want to see the police officers come, pause, and take our CRTs away from us.
Yeah. I watched that rant live, and I was live tweeting about it. I was like, I'm gonna start hitting up the streets with Stein, starting a revolution. It's real though. Respect. We just gotta stand up. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, I don't know. Did you see the some European country took that to court?
Yeah, Norway.
I I didn't read anything of it, but I saw it, and I was like, that's cool.
I
I don't know
Google
if that will
translated it, and I was like, this is so based. Let's go Norway.
I don't know if that will affect us over here or just the European countries, but
Just literally Norway because they're. I think what they said was, look, we're trying to inspire other countries into action here. And I
yeah,
go, But the thing is that as much as the United States love being like America, they love money more. So I
they
can't
do.
imagine politicians with Nintendo in their pockets being like,
Mhm.
yeah, we should let tournament organizers run tournaments without being chopped at the knees.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I'd like to think they will, but I don't know.
I look, we got to get more people. I mean, who was the person who got elected to a position? I want to say like some kind of like House of
You,
Representative type.
you talking about the P plus senator or
Yeah,
whatever?
yeah, from Oregon.
I think it's like I don't remember what state it is, but I did remember that
Is it
story.
Wyoming? Oh boy.
It's somewhere over there. I thought in my head I was thinking Colorado.
No, I
It's
don't think it was. I don't think it was Colorado. I would have like been more like tuned into like,
mm,
oh, my brother lives in Colorado. That's cool. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I
Uh,
just know that. Sorry.
no, it's okay. Whatever state it was, I don't think it might have been Wyoming. I thought to myself, whoa, cool,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you know how Midwest be. You know what color they
Yeah,
vote on the on
yeah.
elections.
Yeah, no. They were a like OG like 3.0 or whatever Ness main, and like Saber remembers them. And then they responded to the people talking about them used to being a P plus player. And they're like, yeah. Haven't played in a while, but maybe I'll have to get back into it now.
And then was quote retweeting someone saying, "But your L cancels were bad." Excuse me, I have 70 plus L cancel percentage now. You catch me on these sticks. So cool.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
So we need
'Cause
more
even the
people like
thought,
that because otherwise we're not
yeah,
going to be able to do anything. We need more melee people in Congress.
more
Oh my gosh.
more video game people in Congress. That's
Oh
right. That's
no,
right.
that sounds so.
100%.
I mean, just
I
imagine
love.
all the Twitter pedigree that you have and go, excuse me, you tweeted what? Oh no, now you're in a position of power. Oh no.
Yeah,
Jesse
yeah.
said we should have doubles on at some tournaments. Oh no.
Yeah, yeah. I love P plus, man. Not to toot my own horn, but the PR came out yesterday, and my name's on there.
Mm.
Indiana. I hope it won't be there for that long because I'm not good. It's just our community small. I'm hoping that's my secondary um, agenda right now is building the Indiana P plus community. But Pulse is still the forefront.
The fact that you're not honorable mention or rank 10 though, we got Mr. Number 6 here, That's
It's
pretty
your number
good.
6, yeah, yeah.
You're a top
Number
6
I
Indiana
I
P plus
wanted
player.
I wanted to be 5, but number 5 on the tier list destroyed me at the last tournament I went to, so I got knocked down a peg.
Mm.
So it is what it is. I'm honestly trying to get a P plus player on my team, but I've talked to 3 of them, and all 3 of them have been like, I don't know, I don't go to tournaments very consistent. Like one of them, you know who Chalupi is?
No, I don't know
The
a whole lot of
captain.
P plus players, so you'll get me
I
lost
wish I
quickly.
I wish I could just stream you the Chalupi video. There's a video on YouTube called Chalup. It's hard to describe this person. They are like the Wizrobe of P plus.
Okay, well I already have a good idea.
Except they're really funny. Not saying Wizzy's not funny, but they play Counter Falcon and P plus, and everyone in Illinois hates the way they play because they're from Illinois. Basically, they'll reaction tech chase people, but with footstools. So like they'll down throw you, reaction tech chase, footstool stomp you, and then reaction tech chase you, footstool stomp you until you get to 9%. They'll footstool stomp knee you, or just footstool raw knee you, and there's nothing you can do about it because they have an audio jack they stick in their headset that has a bass boost on it, so that they can bass boost the tech noise when they tech, so they can tech chase you better. It's insane, and like there's a whole video on YouTube about them doing stupid stuff, and like there's a meme on their Discord that's just Chalupi killed my dog, and so whenever Chalupi's saying anything, they'll just be like Chalupi killed my dog. Like they thought I was a Chalupi Smurf when I went in the Discord because I have like a Captain Falcon
Yeah.
profile picture,
Yeah.
and I like Chalupi, so I was playing like Chalupi badly compared to them. But they're like, "Oh, this is a Chalupi Smurf." I was like, "Who's Chalupi?" And it's just like 12 people are like, "Chalupi killed my dog." Like, what is going on? This is insane. That's another reason I love P plus. They just got crazy stuff like that, man. But I've talked to him being on a team, but he's like, "I don't know, man. I'm old. I don't go to tournaments that often." I'm like, "I want to give you money, please. I just want to be."
Name a
But none of
tournament,
you.
Chalupi, and I'll make sure that
Yeah,
you don't have to pay to stomp
yeah,
footstool reaction tech chase knee.
yeah. It's just like I want to give these people money, but they won't accept it. I don't
Yeah.
know. One day.
Yep. One day I'll be cool enough. We'll see. I
Yeah.
am a silver 1 player, soon to be bronze 3 again because I'm not actually good enough to be silver 1. I just stopped playing when I realized I was silver 1. I thought, you know what? 5 and 9, let's let it sit.
Stop the count.
Let's
Stop
let
the
it sit.
count.
I'm gonna play more ranked, but obviously I'm super bad. We'll get there at some point.
I haven't touched rank yet, honestly, because I honestly don't play that much melee anymore.
But it's
But
short and sweet, best of 3. You can play like 5 matches in 30 minutes, and bam, you have insta feedback on how good you are. It's
I
pretty
get
addicting.
I get so mad, man. I don't think I could take it. I'm not a competitor at heart. I don't want to practice, and I get mad when I'm not good.
No, I know what you mean. I don't have enough time to really devote to practicing,
Mhm.
and so I go, I'm increasing my game sense, my gamer
Yeah,
gene.
yeah.
No one gamers harder
Like
than me. The way that Carlos, he's a player from Spain, described Triff to me the other day, and I
Mhm.
think you might have
Yeah.
heard this while you were tuning in,
Yeah.
was Triff will just lean in and game and say nothing for 5 hours straight. That's kind of my personality with playing Melee. Not that I can play for
Mhm.
5 hours straight because I'm very sensitive to, my family needs, but
Mhm.
when I get a chance to play, and I'll play with the people from 717, my region, that's Central
Mhm.
PA, and everybody's super happy to see each other, and everybody's joking around and playing friendlies and talking at the same time, and I play, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and then
That's
afterwards
how
I'll go,
I
that
am.
was really fun, that was cool, but they'll be
Yeah.
talking, and I'm like, haha, haha,
Yeah.
haha, because I'm trying to play. I don't get a chance to play that much, so playing
Yeah.
casually, I just go, I need to play hard.
Yeah. I'm the exact same way. I've got AirPods in, I sit down, and I'm just like max volume, like just insanely loud music. And I'm just playing as hard as I can. And they're like, I can hear them trying to talk to me. And I'm just like, I don't have the ability to talk and play. I can't multitask that. So
Nope.
I'm either talking and like autopiloting or I'm really playing. But yeah, I don't have an in between. So it's one or the other. I usually feel bad enough I just take my AirPods out and just start talking to them.
Yeah, at Pound there was someone who was trying to teach me while playing, and I was just thinking to myself, never asked for this, never asked for it. I just wanted to play friendlies, never asked for advice.
You want to know the worst situation I've had playing IRL friendlies? Because I've only been to two majors and they're both Riptides. And the last Riptide 2022 I went to, I was of legal age to drink finally, and so I was I was having a good time because I'm not a competitor. I didn't sign up to compete. I had a spectator pass. I'm managing people, making sure people wake up. But one morning, because I am a normal human being in society, so I wake up at like 7 a.m. for work, and so I'm waking up at 7 a.m. at Riptide. I'm in the venue with like three other melee players playing by myself on a CRT, just like kind of moving so that I can play friendlies later in the day. And to my knowledge, this is the worst experience I've had. Not against anyone who was there, just like the combination of what happened was awful. This little shitter who name of OG Kid, sits down next to me at like 7:30 in the morning, and I know who he is. I'm like, man, okay.
It's puff time.
It's tough time, and I'm just like, I haven't played Melee in forever. I'm on my P plus grind, and so I'm like, he's like, you want to play? I was like, sure, man. And I'm just getting like two stocked. I might get a game down to one stock, get three stocked. That's not the worst part. I'm fine playing with OG Kid. Like, I don't have a huge ego. I'm fine losing to someone half my age. It is what it is. But then his very, very nice and lovely grandmother sits down next to me and starts asking me questions about my life. Where do you live? What's your name? And I'm like, I'm about to have a stroke. Like, I'm trying to play and listen to OG Kid talk. And then his grandma's like asking me what my social security number is in my other ear. And I'm just like, I didn't want to be mean and ask her to stop talking to me, but like I got four stocked like four times in a row. Like I was just getting annihilated by OG Kid, and he has like friends standing behind them, and I'm just like, this is the end of my life. This is where I end it all.
So there's no Joker moment. You don't instantly start grinding Melee when you get home. You just still put on P plus, and shouts out to the P plus community. You just do
Mm.
that. That's
I
crazy.
feel Yeah, no, I feel like the only reason that I didn't go full Joker mode is that after that I watched someone go full Joker mode, which was my buddy. I don't know how they do it. QSS, and I think they just go by Cole. They're both from Texas. I don't know what they call the game mode they were playing, but basically the whole weekend they both don't compete, but one of them's a P plus player and one of them is just like more of a casual. They play this game mode where it's Congo jungle only, random low tier. So you have to random your character till you get a low tier, and then it's whoever has the least amount of stocks or the highest percent on the similar like same number of stocks. But if one of you loses all of your stocks, you have to restart, and it's a best of five. It took them the entire weekend to do one game, and like I would just sit there and watch, and like one of them would SD as like Donkey Kong, and they would just scream in the middle of the venue. They were taking it so seriously. I was like, I might have lost to I might have got four stock by OG Kid, but at least I'm sane enough to not put myself through whatever this is. I was like, I still got enough screws up here that I'm not doing whatever these two guys are.
You still have
So
some dignity left actually
some
after being
dignity.
destroyed by OG Kid. I
Yeah.
got destroyed by OG Kid at Big House, and thankfully I got so that's actually wasn't his grandmother you were talking to. That's a family friend. Anyway,
Oh,
we
okay.
got to all have lunch together at Big House because I'm getting my lunch. I see him sitting down. Actually, no, it wasn't OG Kid yet. It was who I thought, the lady who I thought was his grandmother too. She was starting to sit down, and there was only one seat. Everybody had taken away the chairs from the Big House lunch tables to friendlies, and I was
For
like,
friendlies, yeah.
typical. So
Yeah.
I grabbed a few and I brought them over and I said, here you go. I know you and OG Kid and his mom. I know you're all going to be sitting here, so here you go. And she's like, oh, thank you. And she's like, have a seat. I was like, okay. She's like,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right, now who are you? How do you know how do you not my grandson? See, that's what she's like. How do you know OG Kid? I'm not his grandmother, but I'm a family friend. We're talking.
Mm,
And then later on, when OG Kid and I played against each other, thankfully, like I said, that I think they were helping to run pools actually. Both
yeah.
ladies, his mom and the other lady. So I think they were helping to run pools at the time, and OG Kid's big time chilling because his racket was done on Friday, and this was
Yeah.
Saturday, and
Big
I
challenge.
can't do anything against him. He's already so good for his age. I thought to myself, if OG Kid was this good in 2006, around the time that Mango was coming up, who also would have been about 13 or 14 at the time, I wonder,
Mm-hmm.
like, probably
If
be
it's
good enough to
similar.
upset some people for sure. I don't know about Mewtwo King or Ken, but I was seeing a lot of good stuff. Um,
Um,
just
I'm
saying.
just saying, if in like 2 years' time, when people start making fun of their puff, if they switch to Falco Fox, I'll start referring to him as Mango Junior.
Yeah, well,
So,
I already got some Falco Fox. Like he says, "Oh, Jesse, I'm just gonna switch to Falco if that's okay." I said,
yeah,
"Oh,
they
by
did
all
that to me
means."
too. They did that to me too.
And
Yeah.
pillar combos, and I'm going, "Well, what are we
Yeah.
doing here? Come on, man!" And
Man.
I was super impressed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
Very, very good.
happy that we have somebody younger than the age of 22. I'm happy. Oh, sounds like you as well. I'm happy that we have people who are super
I'm
young and getting
22.
into melee.
Yeah.
It's cool. It is cool.
Yeah, I love seeing younger players playing, especially with how the scene is now. I feel like the scene is a lot safer for younger people nowadays. Because like I tried to get into competitive in Smash 4. Like I played competitive, like I'd play online and I would be serious and I would take it seriously. I'd practice. But like my mom like looked into like the Smash community. She's like, you're not allowed to go to tournaments. Like she would not let me go until I turned, I guess I was 19 because that's when I finally started going to some. She was like, "All right, now that you're an
This
adult, I'm fine with you going to
this
these things."
this is
And,
this is like the Bob's Burgers episode.
yeah, yeah. And listen, I know I'm a cartoon character.
No, you're not a cartoon character. This just gives me those insta vibes. Like if I said to my
Yeah,
daughter or my son, "Now you're old enough to be in danger," like
yeah,
that's
no,
what your
no.
mom basically said.
Yeah. Well, she was like, "I feel comfortable around you," because now they're like, "You're the age of the people you're gonna be around." She didn't want like little 14-year-old me going around like a bunch of adults. Like she doesn't
It's a
know.
fair thing to say. It's fair. It's
She doesn't know
fair.
who they are. But yeah, I say cartoon character because I was in a Discord call like 3 days ago, and someone was like, uh, "I'm not going to give the backstory to it because we were talking. It was like locker room talk, basically inappropriate talk for public people to know." But basically, what happened was someone said, "I can't imagine you doing anything, Bells, because I don't know what you look like, and in my mind, you're just a cartoon character."
It's so
It's like
mean.
that's messed up. And they're like, I didn't mean it rude. It's just you're such a ridiculous person. Like I've told them lots of like childhood stories. Like there's a whole joke about I used to play in like a dirt hole as a child, like in the middle of Illinois, like when I was a kid.
That's
Like
standard Midwest stuff.
that's what I say. I'm like, it's just the Midwest experience. They're like, that's not a Midwest thing. That's a you thing. I'm like, it's not. I know lots of people who played in dirt holes as kids. Like, you get the sand pail out and you just play in the dirt. That's what you do. Rainy days were sick, dude. So
Look,
he's like a little 3-year-old.
Midwest, this is your chance to step up and support
Yeah,
our friend
please,
Bells.
please.
Did you play in a dirt hole growing up?
The Texans are just digging into me every time it gets brought up. The dirt hole. It's a good time, man. So, but yeah, they told me last night not to bring up the dirt hole, but I told them they couldn't stop me.
Mm. What other advice did they have for you?
They basically said don't ruin your reputation. Because I'm very
When given the chance, you go, I could steer this ship really great, but I could
yeah,
also take a detour. Well,
yeah, no, I'm just very, I have no filter. I just don't. So like they know like everything about my life. They're like, don't do that. Not that you have anything like illegal, but just like they don't need to know. Don't tell them about the dirt hole. I'm like, but the dirt hole's funny.
it's
I used
super
to play.
cool.
I
Look,
used to play.
I'm not the kind of person to draw out the most scuffed of circumstances from people. I'm just trying to big time chill with somebody else who likes Melee and P plus and Smash. Look, I'll eventually have somebody from Ultimate aside MK Leo. I did that on a whim.
Yeah,
I'm
how
like,
do you get that? I saw that.
yeah, I messaged him and I said, if I pay for your one-on-one training, can we just do a podcast instead? And he said, sure.
Yeah, get
Is
Mewtwo King on too.
I have no interest in having on Mewtwo King for a Medify session at all. I have to say it. I have to say it. Maybe I don't think I've been asked directly to have Mewtwo King on, but I won't pay him to do it. He has to do it for
Yeah,
free.
yeah. That is, I don't know if you know the lore behind paying Mewtwo King, but like it's really scummy. Like one time Justice asked for, and this is public information to my knowledge, he asked Mewtwo King for games because Justice is a good player, and all Mewtwo King did to reply
Let's
was, "Oh
send him
yeah,
the
he did."
Medify link.
Yeah, he tweeted it, and Justice is really funny. So Mewtwo King only responded with his Benefy link, and Justice responded, "Don't you ever do that shit to me ever again." And Mewtwo King just responded, "Okay." Like Justice was not having it, dude. It was so funny. But yeah.
Everybody has a Mewtwo King story, except for me, because I refuse to go into the I'm not gonna pay for it. Remember how I said I'm not gonna beg for my job? I'm like,
Yeah.
not paying.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go out of my way to have somebody on if they don't want to come on and chill and talk
Right.
because I guess it goes against the thesis of the podcast. Maybe I don't know. I do
Yeah.
not know.
Your standards. You never got the would you like to enter my frame perfect series DM on Twitter?
Oh, yes. Now I see what you're saying. No, I did not. And I even
I
did
got
podcasts about Frame Perfect Series 4 after
yeah.
SFAT won. I predicted SFAT to win. And then I went back and said, and I tagged V2 King and I was like, check out this clip. I predicted SFAT would win. Nothing. And I went, okay. So that's how it's going to be.
I wasn't even a competitor yet. I wasn't even like playing and practicing, and I got a DM from him about it. I'm like, how did you find me? I have like 30 followers.
Mm,
I hadn't even made Pulse yet. Like I'm just some random. Just
good
getting
for you.
DMs.
See,
Yeah, I
that's how you know
guess.
you're truly connected
Clouded.
to Melee. And I'm
Clouded out
the
of my
fraud,
mind.
not you. Me.
Mhm.
Because I've never gotten a
That's
Mewtwo King DM.
that's what I tell everyone who asks me why I made Pulse, and I say for the clout. I just, I'm on that clout grind.
Mmm.
300 followers on Twitter, baby.
Mmm.
I might be the least clouded out of the main. I am the least clouded out of the main three. I need to. We need to get on that.
Well,
I deserve
maybe
more
you'll team up
followers.
maybe you'll team up Sunday. That would also be kind of interesting
Have
to see that come to fruition.
Have you seen that Twitter that Twitter reply section about that?
I liked all the tweets. How'd you not see it, Bells? Wait, you weren't actually it was actually just Kriestab and Slumlord going back and forth. I don't even know if I saw your replies in there.
Yeah. I like replied once. But yeah, we haven't done that yet, but I'm still very interested in doing that. I need to get in contact with them to see if we can get that going. That would be sick.
Someday. I mean, I feel like the move there is just trying to see, hey, what kind of event can we run to that we can all sort of like pitch into, because otherwise it's not. Yeah, I can't think of I can't think of a silver level of acquiring others and just turning into one big conglomerate, but
I can give you my pitch if you'd like to hear. It's something I thought about even before that conversation happened. If you're interested.
hit me.
So I used to work for, so I gotta preface this with it's not a union, but I used to work for a union and I got an idea of basing a team off of an idea similar to a union. And it would be like international player base of Melee. It would have an acronym like a union does, it'd have a symbol. And we would bring in players who are not signed to teams that deserve to get flown out to a couple events a year at least. And they would join on to the team and then they would sign the book. If you know anything about unions, they have the book. And you sign your name on the book.
It sounds more
And
like a gang or the mafia.
no, this is like a union. And so they would sign their name into the book, and then it's literally just a list. And so, say, come January, when Genesis happened, say with a conglomerate, and there would probably be also like a not a GoFundMe, but a Patreon for people to support it as well as the people who just put money directly into it. They say, I guess we have enough for 2 people to go to Genesis. So we offer the top 2 people the opportunity to go. If any of them decline it, we just go down. And then those 2 people get to go, and then their names get dropped down to the bottom of the list, and then they have to rise their way back up when other people get dropped down below them. That's how a union book usually works. And I was like, in that way, we can have the most amount of players covered and give them the most amount of ability to go to tournaments. It wouldn't be like a full sponsorship deal, but you would be able to get to some tournaments to show off your stuff at least. You know what I mean?
And the way you
That was my.
qualify, you have to have at least this many points on Slippy Ranked.
That's
Oh,
right. Gotta be Grandmaster. So that was the idea I had. It's not perfect, but it's just, everyone's got to throw in ideas into, a group to conglomerate into an actually good idea. You know what I mean?
yeah, and then start acting on it. But look, 5 days of Melee, that doesn't happen by accident. It took
Yeah.
so many people who sacrificed their entire lives to, no, not really, but I mean, Walt didn't sleep, it sounded like, based on my conversation with him.
Also, homie.
Mm-hmm.
Also, my boy.
I mean, puts out these wild tweets. Let's see, what was the one that I saw while we were talking? You see this Merry Christmas tweet from Walt? Let me copy and paste it to you.
No.
I'm copying and pasting it to you on DMs on Discord, but that's the last of it. Merry Christmas from Walt and from Bells and from Cypher to you and yours this holiday season, even though this episode very likely comes out after Christmas. I have no Patreon questions, so all I got for you is we got to wrap up and get going. Let us roll out the red carpet for you. Please plug and shout outs and final thoughts that you got.
All I got is don't follow me. I don't tweet. Follow the Pulse account at Pulse_SSBM. I believe that's what it is. Follow Justice. I'm sure you guys already do. Follow Dan, also known as Tyler Swift. Don't follow Tempo or Run Riot. They don't use Twitter. So and then also follow Blue and Durai. Those are my other 2 players. So I don't know if you are gonna link those later, but follow all those people. I'm sure you guys can find them if you try hard enough. But yeah,
nice.
Thank you for having me on. I had a good time. I love to talk, as you learned.
Hey, it's all good. We're both look. I have a family to get to, but we're both gainfully unemployed. We got plenty of time right now. It's all good. Thank you so much for joining me, Bill. Stick around for after the outro because we have to do a thumbnail picture. But then we'll get you going here. In the meantime, say goodbye to all the viewers and listeners.
Bye.